Alright guys, welcome back. I'm your host Wolf. With me I've got two cool players, HongUn and Lovesick. Here's Lovesick down here at the bottom right, formerly known as OGSJ. Of course still a member of the team OGS. And down here on the bottom left, the Sith Lord Protoss himself. He is HongUn Prime Weeb. Don't know what to expect from this guy. Of course I'll talk a little bit about HongUn before we start here. HongUn is a guy who's been in the GSL for a long time. He played really well back in the open seasons, making it to the round of 4, losing to Jinro, I believe it was, or perhaps Rain. I think it was in open season 3. I remember that was the season where he beat Fruit Dealer. Fruit Dealer went for a Baneling bust, and HongUn actually defended it by making a maze with pylons and gateways in like lightning fast reflexes, making them in all the right places and holding that attack off. If you guys have that season ticket, go back and watch that game because that game was awesome. Whenever I think about HongUn in this matchup, I always remember that and I go, you know what? HongUn does a lot of blink stock for all-ins, but I have to say, this guy has got really fast reflexes, he's got smart decision making. Yeah, sure, sometimes his all-ins don't work, sometimes his blink stock or micro isn't the best, but I really like this guy. One thing a lot of people have been critical about him, especially in Korea, this hasn't really been discussed very much in the foreign scene, is that he's really trying to decide if he wants to focus on school right now or Starcraft, and he has not been putting as much practice time in recently as usual, and he's considered quitting. He's said that several times. He's probably even said that live on Code S Selection Group. He's actually considered quitting pro gaming, and this may be the last time you guys see HongUn if he loses to Lovesick here. So I wanted to just kind of give this little tribute to HongUn and say, this guy's been around a while and he's been kind of falling down. He may fall out here. I'm not going to forget him. So coming here with his probe scout, makes a nexus during all of this. After a forge, sees that it is in fact a pool before gas. He's going to try to block this hatchery. Should be quite successful. Might even make a pylon to block it if he wants to. And there it is. So Lovesick's hatchery significantly delayed by this. Back at home, of course, HongUn did make that first cannon. He's going to wall off here with a gateway. Help protect that cannon from melee attacks. Making an extra pylon first. Better choice. Probes can possibly just hang out here, make sure most enemies can run by. We're at fairly close positions. I say fairly because on this map, close positions do exist. They're the closest positions you could have on this map, but they're not close by any means. Look at this. Diligent scouting by Lovesick. Gonna catch this probe, take him out. Certainly speed has started back in the main base of Lovesick. He's, though, continuing to mine gas with all 3 drones. So, most likely we're going to see some sort of pressure out of him very soon. HongUn's gateway getting closer to completion. He's already got both of his gases up. Sink some probes over here. In total, as far as workers go, around this time of the game we end up with, 22 probes to 19 drones. Very common to see. The worker count of Lovesick will catch up quite quickly. Right now, of course, the 2 Nexi are producing probes, Chrono Boost. This does not have all the larvae he needs to keep up. This Zerling is going to get a little bit of scouting information, not a ton to see here. He knows it's the Forge fastest pen, he's done that for quite some time. This probe is going to come over here just to make sure the hatchery was actually made. Always want to be certain of this probe, though, does not get to see that Lovesick is continuing gas mining and is making a roach warren here. And Lovesick going to take a quick pause. So let's talk a little bit about what this roach warren is going to mean for HongUn. Right now, he only has 1 photon cannon. The Cybernex core is finishing up. They're at close positions, and with the just 3 rounds of drones finishing, he's probably going to have 2 larva rounds pop fairly quickly here. And when that happens, it's going to allow him to produce with probably the larvae he's got now, he's probably going to be able to have 7 roaches or so in production when that roach warren finishes. So when that roach warren finishes, he's going to make 7 roaches. They're going to stream across the map. Will HongUn be prepared? He's most likely not going to make an extra cannon blindly. He's probably going to start a sentry. Now when Lovesick gets there, if HongUn does not micro perfectly, he could actually lose this game, at the very least lose his Forge or Cybernetics Core, because remember the Cybernetics Core is positioned at the bottom. It's kind of sticking out a little bit. He's gonna, if he micros his roaches correctly, he might be able to pick that off. Could go for the Forge. HongUn is researching +1 right there. And the key here is with Zergling Speed finishing, if he makes a round of Speedlings behind it, if the wall breaks, the Speedlings can get in and just end the game. HongUn does not have any extra gateways dropped just yet. Probably thinking about teching very soon after that Cybernetics Core finishes. I don't yet have any knowledge about why Lovesick has paused the game. I'm guessing it's some sort of computer problem. But we'll get a notification fairly soon. I'm sure that it's probably just maybe a sound messed up, keyboard broke or something like that. Of course, I'm casting from Gangnam, and he is currently in Mukdong, so I can't actually physically see what's going on. And people are making a bunch of phone calls right now. The New York Times is like already on the story, but Lovesick is not available for comment right now, so nobody really knows what's going on. So, again, I'd like to take this time to plug my own Twitter and say that you guys can follow me at ProxyWolf. You can also follow GOMTV as well. And our our referee is asking the players if they are ready, and that is of course the case. So he's going to politely count them down, and we'll be jumping right back into the game. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are back. Here we go. Alright, so now that our referee has resumed the game, we will resume talking about it. As I was saying, the Cybernetics Core kind of down here in a vulnerable spot. Roachborn is completed. He's got one larva here, and in fact, looks like just no larva here. These injects are about to pop, though, like I was saying, and when those do, he's going to be able to make as many roaches as he chooses. The Overlord going to finish as well around that same time. First roach on the way, going up to 4 here. Now, a Stalker has been made for HongUn. That's going to be really helpful for the first roaches that get there, but he's going to need a sentry most likely when the Zerglings start coming in if he loses one of his buildings, and is actually starting that sentry now. Starting a second cannon as well, just to be safe, and most people blindly skip that second cannon. HongUn smells something though. He's not really sure what's going on. He says, you know what, 150 minerals is a lot to spend right now. I want to power up my gateways. I want to start unit production. He's adding those 3 gates right now, speaking of powering up the gateways. But, when I went to scout him, he blocked me with his queen. I don't know what's going on, so to be safe, I'm going to make a second cannon, and that's exactly what he's done here. Lovesick moving around the map with these first 7 roaches. 7 roaches is the normal number. Of course, there was a build called the 7 Roach Flush that was quite popular for quite some time, and this is a very similar one. He's going to follow this up, of course, with Speedlings. He's going to go ahead and target down the Stalker, and maybe even get the Sentry. Baits out the Force Field immediately here. The cannon doing a ton of DPS. The Zerglings participating in this for some reason, not actually the best choice here. He's going to try to target down this cannon, but one more sentry has popped out. And the cannon actually not being focused. He goes for the Forge instead. 2 more cannons being warped in here. The Zerglings run by, but I have to say this attack has been fairly unsuccessful for Lovesick. The Forge is remade immediately. This cannon is going to finish. These sentries need to get pulled back. The Probe may make a pylon here. Nice force field instead. The Zerglings coming into the main to do a little bit of damage, but Warp Gate research is done. Zealots have been warped in. And HongUn lost the Forge. He lost a decent amount of units right now. Supply 62 to 46, but he's not out of this yet. The Roach is continuing to poke at this gateway on the outer side. He doesn't know if there's Speedlings over here or not, so he can't cancel that. Oh, he actually lost the gate without canceling at the last second. A huge misstep by HongUn. Now HongUn in a little bit of trouble. Right now the worker count is 34 probes to 51 drones. As you can see, he droned up quite heavily behind this. Did not make a second round of Speedlings. Knew they would not end the game with this push. Another gateway going down. Hallucination going down for HongUn at this point as well. Needs to scout. Wants to be able to come over here and see his third base, but he knows, well, he might have a ton of Zerglings out. What choices is he making right now? If I move up with this small army here, I could get caught, I could get killed, I could just kind of lose the game slowly after that. This queen has been going to the tanning bed. She looks a little bit tanner than most queens. That was a little bit weird. Sometimes this happens in Starcraft. Does anyone else notice that? Sometimes the textures just get really dark for some reason on certain buildings and units. It's weird. I'm not crazy, I promise. It actually happens. Right now, Lovesick going over here, destroying these rocks, wants to take a third base. And HongUn is going to move out. This is a fairly risky choice, but it's a choice that I actually would make in this situation as well. I think it's important to be aggressive, force more units if your opponent isn't making units. Right now, the Hydro Stun is finishing. 9 roaches in production, plus 1 missile attacks on the way in advance, as well as that roach speed. Pylon going down here for HongUn. And he's just going to go for this attack. Remember, if that pylon finishes, he has vision up this ramp. He can warp units in here. But there are a decent amount of roaches, a lot of zealots here, not very many stalkers. It's going to take good force fields. And those force fields are actually pretty decent, forcing these roaches to engage. They can't really micro against the zealots. But I think Lovesick has way more than enough units to hold this. Guardian's Shield fades away. Sentries, I'm sorry, HongUn, do not do a lot of damage. But with this next warp-in of stalkers, he could potentially finish this game. But 11 roaches are about to pop out. Drones coming off the line here for one of Lovesick's last-ditch attempts to kill these stalkers, but the drones really aren't even necessary at this point. Does force the stalkers back. More being warped in here, but I think Lovesick has done it. He's held this push. Zealots being warped in and not stalkers, and that is going to be the nail in the coffin here for HongUn, as these zealots are just not going to do the damage they need to do. The roaches just microing past them. They have a better concave. He's got a better amount of them. Lovesick with now double the supply of HongUn, and HongUn it's not, HongUn's known for his Blink Stalker play and this all-ins in this type of situation, but this time he doesn't even have Blink. Pylon goes down, and now, like I said, Lovesick with twice the supply of HongUn. HongUn making sentries at home. Why? Because he might actually just die if Lovesick decides to kill him. I think Lovesick will kill him. Lovesick's smart. He's got Hydras out at this point. Gonna actually go for these rocks instead, though. Could have gone and killed him. He is gonna at least put some pressure on, which I like, and guess what? 10 roaches beat. They beat the Cybernetics Core. They also beat Sentries. What's HongUn going to do? He's just going to slowly die here. I have to say I was a little bit disappointed with HongUn's choice to commit to that attack. It was not necessary. In fact, he should have known that it was about a 30% chance of him being able to commit and win the game. If Lovesick had droned up like a crazy person, he already droned up kind of like a crazy person. He droned up like your grandpa, who's not really crazy, but everyone thinks he's crazy. That's how he droned up. And he's still able to hold it. HongUn just way overcommitted. Now Hydralisks are going to just come and kill him. They have +1 upgrades. They have range. HongUn has +1 as well, but he just does not have the units necessary to finish this off. Cannon's getting pretty low. HongUn warping in units desperately here, but there's just so many Hydras. These force fields helping slow down this push, but not looking very good for HongUn at this point. The Roach is streaming in, doing damage to the sentries. GG! HongUn loses game 1. I would say Jay, won that game, but HongUn really lost it for himself. Sure, it forced extra cannons when his opponent attacked him. He had a serious number of losses with the Zerglings in his main as well. Had to remake his forge, but all of those things are negligible when you compare them to the fact that HongUn just committed to an attack and tried to win when there were a huge number of roaches out. He missed his timing. Why did he miss his timing? Because he got hit with the timing attack himself. His attack was late, and Lovesick did not lose very much with that attack. Yeah, I mean, he lost the majority of his roaches and things like that, but he didn't commit, he didn't get behind in any way, shape, or form. So HongUn was kind of counting on him, like I said, droning like a crazy person. He droned quite heavily, went up to about 60 drones, and he just kept making units like Jelizerg does, and didn't quite work out. Our next map is going to be Dual Sight, so HongUn and Lovesick going to battle it out to decide who will advance. Remember, guys, this is the danger day for these players. Either one of these players could be knocked out of the GSL and be forced to requalify. HongUn, can he tie it up, or will he be out of the GSL, possibly meaning the end of his career? Let's find out.